what are your thoughts on D&I and CRE?
If I were to give it a grade, it would probably be a D slipping into an F.
Damn!
A D slipping into an F.
That's right.
Okay.
So I think for many folks, and I'll include you as somewhat of an assumption on my part, but for many folks that look like us, there weren't these TV shows. So we had to go into the industry in a very defined path. It's not many of us that go into it accidentally. For me, it was incredibly targeted and incredibly, I knew where I wanted to go. I just didn't know how to get there.
Right.
And so part of it is the folks within, a couple of degrees of separation from you and what they do. But the other part of it is it's a really expensive industry to get into. The numbers are massive. The equity numbers are huge. How do you come up with the equity checks? How do you do the debt guarantees? These are all things to think through. While I think that there's some amazing intention that came out of the past 2 years, I am seeing a lot of that erode. And I'm seeing some of it that even was implemented with the right goal, the right focus. Not many minorities, a lot of minorities don't have access to equity. If I find my first property that's an amazing deal, how do I get debt when I don't have the net worth and liquidity? These are all real good questions to think through. And even the concept of friends and family, right? If my friends and family don't have money.
See, he didn't really mean that, y'all. He didn't really mean that.
Did I do that?
It's a joke. It's a very different group now, but how do you get your first deal is a great conversation. How do you get that so a lot of companies started programs that again are very well intentioned but didn't think through these nuances. So as we think more and more about it, as we push the envelope further, there's a lot of groups that take different paths. It's almost like a splintered approach. I do want to shout out Cedric Bobo.
Cedric Bobo, a former principal at the Carlyle Group, is the co-founder and chief cheerleader of this promising project.
With Project Destined, amazing group where he's putting people in industries and corporations to get that background that you need. There's also really great companies that not only look at, how do you do your first deal? Well, you got to do your 10 deals before that. How do you do the 10 deals before that if you can't do your first deal?
Right.
So there's companies that look at satisfying your corporate your on-the-job training, the things that you learn from that in order to, while they're capable of doing it, they just need a little bit of assistance, a little bit of back-end office support. Right. There's folks such as Ernst Valery. I do want to shout out now as well. He's going to be a panelist on my upcoming speaker series at Georgetown University.
Who's that?
Ernst Valery.
Ernst Valery.
Amazing brother. He's a vibrant individual. Probably absolutely the smartest man that I know. He doesn't know this yet, but he's my mentor.
I love how we're just like calling people out. It's what they are.
You don't know this, but it's my story. It's your story. It's your time, man.
So Ernst has a fund that he's raising equity for right now, and he is investing money at the enterprise level. So not only at the deal level, but he targets folks that have these corporate experiences. They've taken deals start to finish, but they've just done that at other companies, and providing them with capital in order to start their platform, to broaden it out, and to do their couple deals with them as investors.
Okay. So kind of like a fund of funds or almost like a VC type of format.
It's VC for commercial real estate for minority. It's not exclusively minorities.
Right.
It's all, he's a minority, but it's for anyone that has that experience, and it's just a great program. So there's splintered approaches of doing it. That how do we get access?
Okay.
How are these things advertised, how are companies thinking about DEI? And that's the grading point that I mentioned.
Yeah.
All of these individuals are doing it. They're doing it on their own.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And in certain cases, help from corporations such as Project Destined. But I'm starting to see the DEI space slip a little bit. It is under attack. There's some interesting things happening from there. And how do we progress past that? How do we propel past that?
Yeah.
And win for us? Number one, I think you have to identify folks that look like you, that aren't trillionaires and might have, I'd love to have an hour of someone's time. Trying to think of someone in particular. I'd love to have an hour of Ernst Valery's time. He's got a ton of units everywhere. He's flying to Chicago, and but I understand that maybe he's just got a lot going on.
Right.
So when Ernst calls me and he says, "Hey, I'm in Baltimore. My flight's actually I'm gonna fly out tomorrow instead of today. Do you want to have coffee today?"
Right.
Absolutely,
For sure.
I'll drive from DC to Baltimore. I'll do that.
Right.
But it's not only folks like them that may have a little bit less time, but it's also folks that are at your level. These are your peers,
Right.
or maybe a little bit ahead of you or below you,
Right.
that you just need to talk through in a very organic way. I need that. I need to talk to these folks and bounce ideas off of and understand kind of how economics is shifting, or interest rates, or all these things. So that's getting back to corporate life. The approach on thoughts of DEI is a differing. They're changing the definition in order to satisfy the requirements.
For sure, for sure. And we can have a whole interview or that might myself. This is your story. I want to stay on track. But I do want to get your opinions on on how DE&I, has been received, executed, passed on, and even under attack. And I feel like we got that in your recent statement. But I will ask you this: Are you after this interview? I know you've been doing this prior, but let's reconfirm. After this interview, we riding, we dotting for D&I within the commercial real estate space, no matter what happens.
Of course.
All right.
Absolutely. No, look,
We battlefield ready.
and it's on our personal mission.
It's on us.
You need to do everything that your goals are,
Right.
but you also need to send the elevator back down.
Exactly.
And reach out to someone that has the same intuition, the same entrepreneurial spirit, the same energy that you had, but might not have had the right resources or the right people to talk to. And it's our goal to matriculate them upwards.